Frank Skinner, live from the Edinburgh Festival. Absolute Radio.
Ah, yes. This is the Frank Skinner podcast on Absolute Radio thingy, and we're actually live in Edinburgh this week. I'm with Emily and Gareth as always. It's great, isn't it?
Fantastic.
I love it.
It's brilliant you could get hold of those pipers in the studio.
Yeah, well, I was quite pleased about that. They weren't cheap, I'll tell you.
I do like that I'm doing a sort of impromptu lap dance to the music.
Yeah, which is not that usual, is it, for pipe music? Yeah, so we're in Edinburgh, and this week's show is... though I say it as shouldn't, was very good, I thought. We had Janeane Garofalo.
The Garofalo?
Yeah, we had the Garofalo on, and we didn't have the Garofalo on. That would have been fantastic.
No. Janeane was lovely, though. I loved her.
Yeah, she was very, very funny, and you might know her from the Larry Sanders Show and loads of other stuff.
Oh, she was on The West Wing, and I was really excited about that because I'm watching the box set of The West Wing at the moment, except I haven't watched it far enough up to when she's on it.
Yes.
Okay.
So it wouldn't have been appropriate to mention.
It's probably just as well you didn't bring up. That would have been your one question for today was, I've just watched the show that I haven't seen you in yet. Yeah, that would have been like when we talked about Day of the Triffids every week and Emily was never in it.
Shut up.
Yeah, having told me she was the star for years. That's like when David Baddiel told me he was classical piano grade 9 or something. And then we had a woman on the show who said, he backed down because she could play, and he said, actually, I never got that high up. I couldn't believe he'd lied to me. Still, this is nothing to do with the show. It's a good show anyway, I think. But I'm hardly going to come on and say, don't listen to this, it's rubbish, because we're already number 178 in the podcast charts. I don't want to shoot myself. I haven't got any other feet to shoot myself in. Feet. And now I've fluffed, and that sound unprofessional. You've probably turned off already. So, unless you two have got anything to add...
No.
I knew it. Let's listen to the damn podcast.
This is Frank Skinner live from the Edinburgh Festival. Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily and... I could hear myself breathing then on the headphones. That's good news. I'm here with Emily and Gareth, and we are live from Edinburgh.
Yeah.
There's a big festival going on, so we thought we'd come up here. And some of us are working. I'm doing a show, and Garrett's doing 2 shows.
Yeah.
And Emily's swanning around.
I'm so swanning. I'm throwing myself into it, though.
Yeah, so I've heard, yeah. So, let's begin at the beginning. It's a very good place to start. I did a gig last night called the Credit Crunch Cabaret, and after the show... Well, it's the way the show works is I host the show, and then... we have various acts that come on, and Gareth was on. Gareth was on first.
Yeah, I was on
I came to see it. You were both
it was great fun.
Yes, and Gareth went very well, got big laughs. And then there was somebody who I had to do an introduction, and they said they were Brazilians, right, these guys. So they told me how to say the name, and they were from, I think it was Gaboeira.
Right.
So the title was Boys from Brazil, The Knights of Gaboeira. I mean, that's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it, for an intro? So I was thinking, right, Knights of Gaboeira. But by then, I'd done 20 jokes, watched Gareth have an argument with someone in the audience. And when it came to it, I said, the Knights of Cappadocia, which is a small town east of Istanbul. So people must have thought, oh, this is great, they'll have those turny-up slippers on. And... it's like gold spangly turbans, and it'll be something marvellous. But then all these guys came on in football shows, but they didn't seem to mind. But anyway, that was all wonderful. And then I understand things went on that I was still working. Our much beloved Emily left the building, and then what happened?
I did. Well, can we just establish they were quite ripped, weren't they, those guys?
They were hunky men.
They were amazing.
They were wearing tracksuit bottoms that left nothing to the imagination.
I've never seen...
Nothing to the imagination.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely. And
well,
they took their shirts
does
off.
that mean that creative art will stop because of those tracks? Because there now nothing is left to the imagination. No plays, no films, no poetry. What's happened to these terrible... These tracksuit bottoms? They've destroyed culture. Anyway,
They look like their abs had been painted on by a makeup artist.
Their abs had been painted on. I saw
Okay.
that going on backstage.
Oh, don't ruin the
Now,
magic.
I should point out the fact that one of them came backstage during the act, because I couldn't see the act because there's no wings at the.
Oh, you missed the treat.
Yeah, so I just had a sense of I could smell perspiration and hear people going woo, and
That was me.
yes. So one of them came out and said, "Come and stand on the stage." So I thought, well, I just did it.
Yeah.
They had that kind of dominant manner about them. And so I went and stood on the stage. There was 2 young children on the stage as well, and I had to stand. We had to stand in a huddle in the middle, very, very close, with our heads held together. And then one of these Brazilian guys jumped over the top of us. Well, I'm 5'9½". It was no mean feat, but I've been scratching my head ever since. And I think if you get very close to small children in the head area, you know, you're playing with fire on the knit front.
Oh, do you think
Yeah.
they've given you nits?
I think I've actually got nits. TV
Oh.
funny man, well actually, funny man in nits scandal. Radio funny man, shall we call it now? Anyway, what happened?
Anyway, so I ran into them in the lobby. They were leaving the venue.
Of course, you don't get nits with Brazilians.
And
Carry on.
I could have got something else though. And I ran into them. And all I did, I went up to them and I just said, I thought you were brilliant. Next thing I know, they're bundling me into their tour bus. I couldn't believe it.
What? Yeah, I bet they were. Who was bundling?
And the manager, who I looked to, I thought, oh, he looked like a safe, nice, honest man who'd help me. He went, come on, just get in. He was trying to get me in as well.
Really?
Yeah.
But I mean in a nice way.
Oh, in a very nice way, not in
Yeah,
a horrible
let's
way.
make. We don't want
Yeah.
the police to go round their house as we speak. They were nice, Brazilian.
They were
Well,
lovely. They were so friendly, Frank.
Absolute.
Radio.
So did you roll with it, Em?
Are you referring to the Brazilian dancers?
I am.
that
How many
encountered?
were there? Let's paint a word picture for our beloved listeners.
Oh, loads. They're about 8, would you say, Gareth?
Yeah, and they were doing capoeira, which is where you all kind of kick over each other but
Cappadocia,
miss.
you mean?
Cappadocia, that's
Yes.
right.
Yes,
And,
it's a sort of a martial art dance.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
It's amazing. And they did loads of flips.
Yes,
One
they
guy
do
just
loads
flipped
of
over
flips.
and over and over and over and over. It was incredible.
Yes, you see what you missed out on, Em?
Well, so what happened? So after I'd seen them, because I didn't realise that if you live in Brazil, apparently I enjoyed the gig very much, means come back to mine for sexy time. That's apparently what it means.
That means the same on the comedy circuit as well, actually. Interesting, isn't it, language?
Oh, you learn something new. So I don't want to disappoint you, Frank, but I didn't go back with them. I
No.
made my excuses and left like a News of the World reporter. Just because I wanted to go back with them, but I was worried that I'd be judged. I thought people would think I was cheap.
Oh no,
Which
I
I
wouldn't have
am.
thought that. I thought you were going to come in today in one of those carnival outfits with that bear. Anyway,
I would have had fun with them.
I think well, they seem like very nice gentlemen
Oh, they seem lovely.
and with their painted on abs. I must try that. Perhaps I could paint on some abs and paint out some wrinkles. Anyway, what did you see the Brazilians, Gareth?
I saw from the side of the stage. They took their shirts off at the end for absolutely no reason. They'd finished
For abs.
everything.
For
And then,
abs. Absolutely no reason. I think that's what.
Yeah.
If you've got bodies like that, you're going to take your shirt off all the time. It's like these workmen that sit around, you know, and
Yeah.
they take their shirts off. They think, oh, I've got to climb this 4-step ladder. I better take my shirt off.
Yeah. Well, I would have taken the shirt off at the end of my gig if I'd have known that that's what was done.
Well, the next time you're on, I will take your shirt off at the end of the gig, whether you like it or not, without removing your jacket. Can I point that out? Which is a great thing. So you're all settled in anyway. You're in your. You arrived on Friday.
Yeah,
Thursday?
and I'm sharing a flat with Daisy and Emma, who work on the show.
Do they? Which ones are they?
Frank. So that's all nice. It's kind of like Sugar Babes the movie.
So it's 3 girls in a flat.
Yeah. It's like Sugar Babes the movie, but I'm the elderly dance instructor. And everything's going fine, except we've had a bit of an incident over room allocation.
Okay.
Yeah, it all went
Well,
a
go
bit.
on.
Well, I had a bit of a showbiz hissy fit because I
You
didn't.
don't say. I can barely imagine
Well,
that.
guys, what do you think? There are 3 rooms. One's all nice, Ambassador, you're spoiling us. One's a bit middling, wouldn't mind taking the Brazilians back there. It's not embarrassing.
Yeah, but there's nothing valuable that could be broken
No.
by a sudden leap. Is that what you're saying?
One is kind of, you know
You can
where...
entertain the Brazilians with gusto.
Yeah, good. You know where Sid Vicious and
Gusto
Nancy
actually plays
Sponge...
for Brazil in the 90s. Sorry, I will stop interrupting you in a minute.
I'm telling you about the third room.
Okay.
Which is, I compared it to where Sid Vicious and Nancy Spungen spent their final days. Sort of that level of depressingness. So the girls said, well, there were 3 bedrooms. Guess which one they allocated for me?
Well, that can't be right. What with you being a presenter and all
Well,
that?
exactly. But they did tell me that they thought we should have a rotation system. So, yeah.
Democracy gone crazy.
It's terrible.
I blame the MP's expenses scandal. It's brought that the velvet rope has been torn down, and now it's a free for all.
I ended up saying, so I got a bit cross, and I went, it's fine, no problem. We'll do that rotation thing. I don't have a problem with it. I've just got a show to do. That's all. I'll do it.
Brilliant. And did you win?
No, I'd like to apologise to my lovely girls and flatmates because I was horrid, and I deserve a good slapping.
But you know, this we're working with a big star here. Any of you don't know that was the theme from Day of the Triffids, which Emily was in as a small girl. And
Yeah.
she's still using that to get the best room in the house. Can you believe that?
I was in Day of the Triffids, you know. I didn't have to put up with this sort of thing then.
Absolute Radio.
I read a very funny thing in the paper this week. A woman journalist, I wish I could remember her name because she deserves the credit for this, but she was talking about the marriage between Amy Winehouse and Blake Civil Service slip fielder, whatever his name is. And she said things got so bad towards the end they were sleeping in separate gutters. I thought, oh God, I wish I'd written that. That was marvellous. So if you're listening, I'm sorry I don't even know, but it's a brilliant joke, I thought. So how's your gigs? How are they going, Gareth?
Yeah, really good. I'm doing a couple of gigs. I'm doing the Comedy Zone, which is that's a later night gig, so it's like a proper comedy club. Something really weird happened to that. I go on at the end, and I got right to my last section. So I mentioned that I've just had a baby boy on the 11th of June. And
in case you don't know, by the way, Gareth is a stand-up comedian. If you haven't heard this show before and thinking, what does he do? That's what he does.
And I said, I've just had a little boy, and everyone goes, ah. And then one person shouted, poor kid, which is bad because it's a heckle, but it came from one of the bar staff who are actually behind the bar.
Right.
And I kind of went, oh, that's good, heckling from the bar staff who work here. And then an audience member said, huh, yeah, used to. And it was okay because it was all part of the show.
Yeah.
But it's not really done.
It's a bit poor if the people working there are heckling the acts. Things have got. I told you, I blame the MPs.
And I was okay, but one of the other acts thought, oh, that's an outrage. So he texted the person who's producing our show, and that person has been fired.
Yeah, well, it's all very well you blamed it on the other act. The truth is, Gareth, you went off stage and said, I have never! That person! I will not tolerate your fire! That's what happened. It might have been.
Oh, and I dread that I'm going to see her like in an alleyway with a dog on a string and a baby in her arms, and she's going to go, it was all you. I didn't get her fired, it wasn't me.
Okay.
Frank,
Well,
you
she's
have
got
created...
a baby on a string.
You've created 2 monsters here.
I have not. I've got one who won't go in the nasty room. One who you're not allowed to heckle. It really is. It is Dr. Frank Skinstein's laboratory. Well, I'm sorry. And here's me getting ever more humble with every day.
Yeah, sure.
Isn't life fun? It's almost like the ego is draining out of me. Like I'm sitting here with 2 leads going from my wrists, with my ego disappearing into you two, and off you go to terrorise the bar staff and people who work on the show of the world.
And then, my other show.
He's on a roll.
I'm on a roll.
Don't stop him. I need this job.
My other show is called Packer Richards, and it's a free show. It's part of the Free Fringe, which is basically, it's really expensive to come to Edinburgh, and the Free Fringe does loads of venues where acts can put on a show for nothing, basically. You just pay to be in the big Fringe programme, and you take a collection at the end.
Oh, I came to see that.
Yeah, Emily came yesterday.
So you pass a bucket round at the end.
Yeah, we pass a bucket round. Emily comes up with a £50 note saying, have you got any change?
Oh, it's getting worse.
I've only got red ones.
I know. No.
So what kind of... how many people would you get in for one of those free shows?
Well, I think our room holds about 70 people.
It must be very exciting, because you and your mate doing the show.
Yeah,
must be exciting to get the bucket after and see what's in it.
Yeah.
And what's a good night? What's a good bucket night?
I counted it up for them yesterday.
Yeah, we had our best.
Yeah.
I hope you wash your hands after. I mean, with the current pandemic, you were absolutely playing with fire. That's like putting your head down a drain, bacteria-wise.
I keep it real. I can be a cashier.
Yeah, okay. Did you wear one of those little dimpled thimbles that they wear at the post office for cash candy? That's very impressive, that. So what's a good night, then?
Oh, it was 90 quid in the bucket yesterday.
90 quid, 70? I think that's...
That's like over £1 each. Not bad. A couple of fivers in there.
Yeah. The truth is, I was expecting you to say about 250. Oh. And now I'm having to respond as if I'm impressed, but in fact I'm thinking, oh, God, I don't think I'd... no, I feel it's got very awkward.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
And we've had some text. If you want to text us, by the way, about anything, you can get us on 8 12 15. And it'd be nice to hear from you, because sometimes I sit here thinking we're in a 3-person vacuum and no one is listening in the whole world. I don't mind that terribly, but it's nice to think that there's people out there
I do
in.
mind, because my ego's way out of control.
No, well, that's the same. Mine is gone now, so I'm happy just to be here. But no, that's true. So have we had... We've got some texts, haven't we?
Yeah. Someone wrote in and said, "Hey, Frank and team," I say someone, it's Hamish Tripp. And he says, "Can you ask Gareth if he was in the car?"
Aren't we on a Hamish trip?
Can you ask Gareth if he was in the car park next to the tattoo? I presume is that the Edinburgh tattoo?
Yes.
Complaining about getting toothpaste on his crotch. It was either him or someone with the exact same tone of voice.
Well, it was a student, in other words. Well, were you on the tattooed car park?
No, that wasn't me.
That wasn't you?
No.
Oh. Okay.
I'm glad I read that out.
Well, I don't know. I like the fact that someone... I think that's what happens when you're on radio. You get recognised by your voice, because obviously people don't know... they don't know what we look like. They have a vague memory of what I look like. But I fell into an acid bath 2 weeks ago, so what you think I look like might not be. That was a silly accident. It's my own fault. It was a wet floor, and I knew that. What else have we had? I don't know why I had that acid bath in the house. I've been cleaning some old coins in it.
This is a callback to something we did a while ago, where we did celebrity swears. Where you use a celebrity's name in conversation to either as like a curse word or like and this is Nicola Appleton.
Not Nicole Appleton. That would be exciting.
Oh yeah,
that would be brilliant.
Well, it might be her.
Except she's changed her first name to Nicola. It seems unlikely.
Well, she doesn't want us to know who it is.
I see. She's a rascal.
She's got some celebrity things that she uses celebrities' names for. In my family, if you pick something up that makes you buckle at the knees a bit, we say, "Oof, ballesteros," as in, it's a bit sevy.
Oh.
No, not it's
Heavy.
A bit sevy. You can't say that. It's sevy.
It's
Okay,
sevy.
Sevy, just say that.
It's sevy.
No, you don't even need the it's, actually, do you?
Sevy.
Sevy.
We should have rehearsed this more, shouldn't we?
Whoa, sevy. That's what it is. Whoa, sevy. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, you killed it, but people can deconstruct that. They'll find the joke in there. Just needs cleaning up a bit. If you need an acid bath, there's one at my house. Carry on.
If you need to find out the length of something, we say, "Pass me the John," as in John Le Mesurier. Well, I think they pronounce it how you pronounce it, like John Le Measurer.
Yeah. I think we had a debate about this. I say John the Mesurier.
Oh, do you?
Wasn't it you who said John the Measurer?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You forgot how you say it.
Everything's lost all meaning
What's
to
happened
me.
to Gareth?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I like those. Pass me the John, then, for pass me the Measurer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're good, those.
I don't really get this one. Shall I read the last one?
No, not if you don't get it, because I feel your heart won't be in it. But well done, Nicola. I very much like Sevy. That's
like
very
that.
good. Oh, Ballesteros. Brilliant.
I thought of one last night, Frank.
Go on.
Well, I was out with Emma, the producer, and we were looking for a taxi, and we couldn't find... She said, is there a taxi rank? I said, what, the Shabba? Let's go and find the Shabba.
Very good.
Shabba rank.
Yeah, Shabba ranks, for those of you who don't.
Shabba.
Me and David Baddiel, when we used to write football jokes for fantasy football, used to say it's Vince Hilarious, because there was a Crystal Palace player called Vince Hilaire. We were very happy. But anyway, if you've got any of these, and we have done this before, but we don't care, because we like them so much. I'm going to start using Ballesteros every time I pick my wallet up.
Absolute Radio.
So I went to see the first... the football season actually started last week. Some of you might think it started this week, according to the the papers, but it started last week. So I went up to West Brom to see them play Newcastle. And
Oh, yeah, I saw you on telly.
yeah, we did. Me and Adrian Charles did a sort of half-time pitch side interview.
You were both adorable.
How did that happen? I don't know. But anyway, Lee Dixon was there. You know Lee Dixon, the former Arsenal defender,
Yeah.
Arsenal England defender, to be fair to him. He was there. So Adrian was driving. So the three of us went back together, and we were just chatting away about all sorts of stuff. And I said that I thought, generally speaking, comedians were more intelligent than footballers. I naturally assumed that everyone would accept this as, an obvious thing, not even worth saying. But Lee said, no, I'm not having that. That's not right. So I said, oh, come on, Lee. I said, I think you're a very bright bloke. You're quite exceptional. That's why you're on the telly, as a footballer. But most comics, or every comic I've met, I've met a lot of politicians, like prime ministers and all sorts. None of them are as intelligent as the ordinary club comics I meet. There's something about comics.
Even Jim Davidson or someone.
Jim Davidson, I would say, he's up there with Professor Stephen Hawking. I was once at a hotel in France, and Jim Davidson happened to be staying there, right, with this very attractive and buxom blonde woman. It was very nice also. And I'd never met Jim Davidson, but, when celebrities are in a room and they see each other, you feel that you have to... it's like if you drive an old-style Volkswagen Beetle and you pass another one in the street, you have to give the nod. So we went over, and I spent the night chatting with Jim Davidson. He didn't say anything horrible or offensive.
Oh.
And he was talking about getting married, and he said, it's a great, this woman said, why do you marry them all, Jim? You've been married 4 times. And he said, well, it's nice, a nice day out, all the girls have a bath. I thought he was very entertaining. Anyway, we're not talking about Jim Davidson, we're talking about...
your row with Lee Dixon.
No, it was, well, I'm not calling it a row. Okay. Anyway, so Lee Dixon says, no, footballers are very intelligent. He says, and this was his example, right, to win. He delivered this as, get out of this, and this is his coup de grace to prove that footballers are more intelligent. He said, we invented a game at Arsenal, which is now played by footballers right across the country. And I thought, well, that's fair enough. It's going to be something like...
Football? Is it football?
It's not football, no. I thought it was going to be something like chess, or Go, one of those kind of games. I would have settled for Buckaroo. But no, he said, what it is, we play keepy-uppy, and if you're the one who messes up, messes up the keepy-uppy, because kicking it to each other, if you do it 4 times, you have to kneel while the others, and when you can't stop them, flick you really, really hard on the ear.
Right.
This was Lee establishing that the intelligence of footballers should not be taken lightly. So there was a silence in the car, and then he said, actually, maybe you're right. Which I thought was really very nice of him.
Absolute Radio.
I was very happy to be in Edinburgh, I must say, because my cleaner's just had 2 weeks off.
Right.
Now, I know there's people at home thinking, who do you think you are? But once you've got used to a cleaner... Because when I first had a cleaner, I'll be honest, I felt so ashamed that I had a cleaner. I used to help her around the house. Honestly,
Did you?
yeah. And she turned to me one day and said, it's better if you don't help.
Is it Rachel Van Helsing?
Yes, it is. So I was helping her to drive a wooden stake. So I stopped helping, and now I'm completely... And my girlfriend, Kath, keeps saying to me, I don't know why you've got a cleaner, because I can do it, And then the cleaner has 2 weeks off, 3 days in, Kathy's already saying, I can't cope with this. And then her mum came round, and honestly, Kath said this, can you believe? She said to her mum, Mum, you really like ironing, don't you?
Oh, Kath.
I mean, it's not right. But I wouldn't let her mum do the ironing. So basically, when we left the flat to come here, we could hardly get the door shut on the flat. It was like there was rubbish spilling out the door.
With their ecosystems.
Yeah, so I'm very, very glad to get away. But I was going to say hello to Dorota, but obviously she's in Poland.
Mine's in Bulgaria. Mine's Bulgarian.
She's Bulgarian.
She's like a womble.
And she's carrying on that wombling tradition. Does she take your rubbish and then turn it into new stuff?
As you can imagine, I'm very easy to work for.
I bet. Well, I got this thing when I had a cleaner. I just thought, if you've got a cleaner, that's great. I can drop something on a Monday on the floor and think, the cleaner comes Thursday. That's fine. She said to me, I love that rug you've got in the, that green furry rug. I said, no, that's a pizza I dropped the weekend. That's what it's like. I mean, I don't pay dogs to bark myself. By the way, we've got Janeane Garofalo on the show today, who is obviously quite a well-known American comic. And very funny. She's doing a show at Edinburgh at the moment.
Yeah, I went to see it last night.
Yeah, we'll save that.
Oh, okay.
It's no good praising it up and then she's not here not to hear it.
Okay.
But anyway, so Janeane will be on after the news. And the producer has just held up a piece of paper to me that says new sensation. Oh. And I'm glad to hear that. I mean, you could have told me that during the news. But it's always good, isn't it? I'm a little bit embarrassed. But, I guess I'll get over it.
Frank Skinner, live from the Edinburgh Festival. Absolute Radio.
Janeane Garofalo is in the house. Janeane, it's lovely to have you on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you were expecting a bigger greeting, then we've never really worked out. We've been doing this show for months. We haven't worked out how to really greet guests because we thought going, way.
No, you did a nice job. We shook hands earlier. It was very civilized.
That's how we like it.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's classy.
We
I like
brought
it.
our genteel Englishness up to Edinburgh.
Well, yeah, it's good. It's nice to go into a room early in the morning with lots of people in it.
Yeah, I always think that.
Do you like that?
Well, Emily almost went home with a Brazilian dance troupe last night. So
I heard about that.
So she would have. Yeah, it's the talk of Edinburgh.
Yeah, it was. It's a part of Sky News this morning, and then there was an editorial about it in the Scotsman. I had read before I got here.
Why they used the picture of Pele? Is that all they got? So, Janeane, you're... I'm sorry, I didn't get to your show last night,
okay.
but I have the best excuse. I was doing a show.
Right, the Credit Crunch.
That's right, yeah. It's all right, you don't have to plug my show. I have to plug yours.
No, I've heard good things.
Oh, that's fabulous. They didn't come from me. Because I'm one of these acts who comes off and thinks, oh, no.
No, again, it was in the Scotsman. There was a headline.
Oh, no. Not that thing. What picture did they use for that, I wonder?
Pele.
Is that all they've got?
Yeah, that's the only one they've got.
God, the recession, it's killing picture desk at the Scotsman. So you've been up in Edinburgh since the off now, so is that a week you've been doing?
I've been here for 2.5 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I leave tomorrow.
Oh, you leave tomorrow, so we like ships in the night.
Yes, just passing briefly. I would like to have been here longer, but I have some other shows in the States that I had already booked prior to booking this, but I hope to come back if they'll have me.
I'm sure they will.
Stay longer.
So, have you had a wonderful time?
So far, so good. The weather until yesterday, fantastic, and the city is beautiful, and I enjoy the architecture and the aesthetics generally.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Now, none of the English comics say things like that.
What do they say?
They say, man, I got so drunk last night and I met these Brazilian dancers. That's the stories we don't get architecture anecdotes.
Well, if we could build a time machine, I could tell you about drinking. Unfortunately, the privilege has been taken away from me.
Well, hey, tell me about it. But let's talk about we haven't had a flying buttress on this anecdote on this show for years.
A flying buttress.
It's an
architecture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank God you helped me out there. you supplied a footnote, Janeane.
Yeah, the architect. I was going to say, I hadn't mentioned any flying buttresses, but we could get into it.
Yeah. There was almost flying buttresses at the Brazilians' house.
Again with the Brazilians. So let it go. Let it go.
You're right. It's I've got festival in there in my blood. That's the only Brazilian music we have to hand.
Well, I saw some of the Chippendales last night.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
What were they like? They're a bit creepy, aren't they?
Well, I don't know if I want to say creepy.
They could be listening.
They're exactly. They like to get up early. Get a lot done in a day, those dancers. But no, we share a common space because we're both in the debate hall in the Gilded Balloon. So my show's from 8:30 to 9:30, they're 9:30 to 10:30. So I've had a chance to talk to some of them in between. Very nice young gentlemen, very nice. Hairless.
Right.
Utterly hairless.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if they're waxing or shaving, but
they must be doing one
fantastic.
of those two things.
They're buffed to a high shine. It's like marble.
Wow. How many Chippendales are there?
Hundreds.
Oh, right. You've never actually counted.
I have not done a head count. Actually, there's only seems like to be about 8 in this show, I think, in the Fringe show. Maybe
Do they still wear that no shirt but with a tie and a dicky bow?
For some. With the fake cuffs. With
I
those
love
sleeves.
That. I love that.
Yeah, they have that. Then there's some showering that goes on. Then there's some welding. So then there's sledgehammers. There's a faux construction site. All manner of contexts that you can see these gentlemen in various states of dress and undress.
Janeane, I think you just planned tonight's night out for me. I'm going to see they sound great.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
That was The Fall with F. Olding Money. I loved it. That's the best band in the world, Janeane.
I'd say they're right up there. You know who I am in love with? Elbow.
Oh, really?
I'm a big Elbow fan.
I think this is the first week we haven't played Elbow on the show.
How dare you?
I know.
How could you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel we've let you down in a big way.
I gotta go.
Oh, no. Janeane, oh.
Come back!
Oh, no.
All right, I will. All right, I'll...
So you're going back to America. I say America.
It is. That's
as
fine.
precise as I get.
No, that's fine. That's what it is.
You're going there to do some shows, but you are coming back to, not to Scotland, but to London.
Right, I'm at the Bloomsbury Theatre for 2 shows on September 25th, I believe, with a comedian named Al Madrigal, who's a very funny guy.
Right.
And we got some shows in Dublin after that, too. But I don't know the name of the theatre.
But there aren't many in Dublin, I
It's
think.
the Dublin Theatre.
That's it, of course.
On Dublin Street.
You know that.
At Dublin O'Clock.
I know, it's a green building, isn't it? Very small.
And you mean
office.
ecologically sound.
Oh,
you don't mean green as in color.
I
You
mean
it
both
leaves
those things.
a light carbon footprint as a building.
Oh, it's like a sparrow's footprint on snow.
That's why I'm working there. I won't work at a heavy footprint in a building.
Well, good for you and your ecological stance. So, Emily, we sent out our show reporter last night. Emily went to your show. And can I say this before Emily says it, that what she's about to say, I'm presuming is true, because she said this when you weren't here as well, if you know what I mean. So she didn't come in and say, oh, no, it was a nightmare, but I'm going to say it was great. She came in and said, thank God it was great.
Oh, I know. Thank God.
I was so relieved because I knew you were coming on. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you'd have to be very diplomatic if you hadn't liked it. But I would know if you were being diplomatic. Because you might say something about the ambience in the room or the temperature in the room, anything other than the content of the show.
Yeah, I loved it. I really recommend it, so everyone should go see it.
Thank you. I as we were discussing, I actually feel like I failed a little bit last night.
Why?
I just one of those innate feelings where it didn't seem like I was quite connecting with the audience.
I felt like that about last night. Isn't that what comedy is about? It's remembering the one joke that didn't work and forgetting the 300
if only it was one.
Oh.
If only it was one.
Okay.
And I'm not
I
really.
feel you have a list with you.
I'm not really a joke writer per se.
Okay.
Much to the chagrin of segments of the audience, but I'm more of a. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not like I have short economical jokes that really grab you right off the bat, and in fact I'm fairly tangential and wandering, and I often forget what I'm going to say.
But that's good. I think it's like I felt like I was sitting with a really hilarious friend.
You are too kind. You better come with me to Bloomsbury Theatre in London and to the Dublin Theatre on Dublin Street.
I should say, Janeane, if there's one thing Emily hates, it's sitting with a really hilarious friend.
Oh, so that was not a compliment.
That's a torture for Emily.
Oh, okay. I understand that. But it's been good. The run has been very good. The audiences are very, very, very nice. But it is a long show, and it is very warm in the room. You know, the temperature is very hot. So it's a lot to ask of people, especially if like my style of stand-up isn't really jokey. No. Per se. So it's a lot sometimes to ask, and sometimes when I feel like I'm not connecting, it's going to be a real long hour. You know what I mean? Like, if they're not digging it right off the bat.
You're being paranoid.
Oh,
about
no,
this.
I'm not.
Emily's a tough critic, believe me.
I'm being
hell's
pragmatic. I'm not being paranoid. And some nights I would say, yeah, I did a good job. But last night I would say I did a fair.
Look, I'm trying to plug your show. It's not undermining it.
we're not unplugging anything. But I mean, I only have one left. So if you know.
Well, look,
There you
anyone that can hear you now can tell you're a funny person. So that'll give them. They'll want to go.
Yeah, they're at home. They are laughing and laughing and laughing.
Yeah, both of them. I don't know what they've told you about our viewing figures. Oh, we don't have viewing figures in radio. That was a sad people thinking, oh, God, he thinks it's
Your
on
listening
telly,
demographics.
Yeah, exactly. Now, sorry, I'm getting lots of notes from my producer today. Everybody wants to rule the world. If you're having a dig at Janeane, just say it out loud. Oh, sorry, it's a record title. Sorry, I just realised.
Tears for Fears.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember running to this music. They did a thing, Everybody Wants to Run the World. They changed it, and I ran... it's not a good anecdote.
But go ahead, finish it now.
I'm not even going to finish it.
But no, really.
That's the kind of anecdote I'd like to leave in Robble.
Well, then, off the air, I demand that you finish that anecdote.
Well, okay, but you won't be glad, Janeane Garofalo. You'll say, why did you finish that? And I'll say, I warned you.
Closure.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, that was... I can't remember.
Tears for Fears.
Oh, yeah, thanks very much. Thank God you're here.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Yeah.
And you had that wonderful anecdote about the T-shirts that they missed, those that were off air.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, you guys. I'll blog about it later.
Do you blog?
I do not.
Okay. So you lied
And
to
I
my
do not
listeners.
Twitter or tweet or any of those things. I don't.
No, I don't, actually.
Yeah, I don't use a computer. That sounds like a lie, but that's the truth. I don't.
I just
Really?
recently got into MySpace. That's the level I'm at.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
It
that's like
seems to be-
1973 or
It's me
something.
and 10,000 goth girls, as far as I can work out. The only people on MySpace.
Social networking. Yeah, I used to use a computer, but I actually shut it down around 2006. And
Oh,
it's
you can,
quite
you can turn
liberating.
them back on. You know, you can turn
Oh,
them
you
back
can.
on. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's been.
not it.
I pulled the plug out, and I thought that's that.
No, it's all rescuable, really.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought once you're done, you're done.
So do you write everything freehand then? That kind
I
of
do. I write everything longhand
On like slate
on
or something.
on stone tablets and with a quill pen. And every night I catch up on my correspondence. I have a small glass of port, take a turn about the grounds, and then I retire for the evening. I awake in the morning feeling bilious and uncharitable, bad bit of meat. But I do write things longhand. I prefer that. But I've even worked on books before and script doctoring. I do it all longhand, which is a real problem.
They must hate that. The
Yes,
people you work with.
they definitely do. It's a real problem, and I apologize for that. But I can't be a part of the whole cyber world. Also, I live next door to George Bush's daughter.
Really?
Her brownstone abuts. There is like a flying buttress, if you will,
All right.
to my apartment building.
Okay, so you can hear her moving about next door.
Well, no, I can't. But
Have you tried?
Yeah, there's I've tried a glass to the wall. It doesn't work.
What a pity.
But when George Bush was president and she was living there, the Secret Service occupied the building right across the street. Now, one assumes they are tapping into everybody's computers and stuff in the area. I'm just assuming that that's the case. So that's part of the reason I shut it down.
Oh, really?
But also, once you get involved in the whole email and the cruelty that is online, does that you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much gossip and disinformation and hit and run cruelty, and then the temptation to Google oneself.
Oh no, don't do that.
I
ever.
won't do that.
That's
I
a
won't do that,
heartbreaking
but-
activity.
Exactly, and so that I make sure that can't happen. But also, people delight in telling you bad news about yourself or sending you bad reviews
Yes, they do.
online. So I don't know why they delight in it, but they do. So if you shut it down, you can't get the bad.
They often do it in that kind of self-righteous way. So I thought what they said about you in The Guardian was really unfair.
Oh yeah, or hey, I liked you with that tone of voice, but I can't stand it. I do shoot the messenger in those cases.
Oh, totally.
I
They
actually
deserve
don't like
it.
it. I mean, I don't literally shoot them. That's just a turn of phrase,
That's
people.
okay. That won't be legally binding.
No, not actionable in a court of law.
No.
That was satire. But I just don't like the bringers of bad news. I don't understand what the point is of telling people about bad reviews or something somebody said about them or anything like
Well,
that.
I used to live with a well-known English comic called David Baddiel. And
I know David would do more one of Banks.
There you go, there you go. I said, we rehearsed that, obviously. I said, get the name right, David. No, yes, because Moena has done loads of work in America.
Yes, she was on SNL. That's where I met her. She was briefly on SNL in America.
That's Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, sorry.
Yeah. Well, David, I remember I was living with David. On New Year's Day, we got a phone call from his dad that said, do you know that you're number 1, 3 and 5 in the Guardian's chart of people we don't want to see in 2000? His dad!
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And there's one time I was named one of the top 50 most loathsome New Yorkers in a New York paper. Why, I have no idea. But and then also I was on the worst dressed list. One year, with like 3 different people picking the worst dressed. I was in the top 10 worst dressed. Now, that actually doesn't bother me at all. But what did bother me is how many people couldn't wait to tell me that.
Yeah.
Or send me the article and stuff like that.
I was 3rd in worst celebrity teeth.
That's not true. I'm looking at your teeth right now.
That's absolutely true. You're other side of the desk, but besides, I started cleaning after that. It was a.
Who was number one?
Yeah, now we need to know who number one is. Now that we just
Shane
said we don't
McGowan
like
was number 1.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah,
that's sort of that's evergreen.
And a guy called a guy. His teeth certainly are evergreen.
Yeah.
Or are they deciduous? I can't remember. Anyway, that's all we've got time for with you, Janeane, but it was great.
Do you mind if I just stay here anyway?
No, that's okay. We can get you a chair.
I'll just sit here quietly. I got this magazine to read, so...
So go and see Janeane at the Bloomsbury Theatre in London, 25th of September, and at the Dublin Theatre in Dublin Street.
Absolute Radio.
I had this idea. I did BBC Breakfast last week, and
Stop showing off.
That's not real. I don't regard that as a big brag.
Okay.
But anyway, I did it, and there was a man on before me who was a very old. He was 80. He was over 80, and he was a ventriloquist. He'd been a ventriloquist during the Second World War.
Oh.
I think he did a lot of Churchill speeches, and especially that one. Oh yes, he did. He wrote that. Anyway. It made me think that, I always like to, recently I introduced the ukulele into my act and stuff like that. I think it's always good. You need to evolve as a comic. Would you agree, Gareth, with that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I might learn ventriloquism.
What?
Well, it'd work great on this show. I could go into it. Look, couldn't I, Johnny? Yes, you could. Right. See? Already I feel it's working.
I really have a problem with that.
What?
Because I think you'll use the dummy as a force for evil. You know, like that Anthony Hopkins film, Magic?
Yeah.
And the dummy starts committing murders. I'm not saying you'd go that far.
No.
But I think I can imagine walking into your flat and you'll be sitting there with a little dummy on your knee and you'll say, "Someone's been piling on the pounds.
Yeah.
Keep away from the chocolate cake." You will?
Yeah. Well, that'd be all right, wouldn't it?
No.
No, sorry, I thought that would be okay. Well, I once bought a book on. It was written by Ray Allen, who did Lord Charles. Do you remember Lord Charles?
Yeah.
He was quite a lascivious sort of. I remember there was one when there was. I can't remember who the actress was, but he went, "Well, you're a pretty little thing, aren't you?" And it was always slightly. He does the slow blink. You know when dummies do the slow blink, kind of scary. But anyway, I bought a book by Ray Allen, and what you had to do, you had to walk around the house all day with your with your teeth clamped together, going, "I'll try and try until I get it right." Right, that's what you have to do.
Oh, that looks quite good.
Yeah, but I was living with someone at the time, and she said, "You're going to have to stop that. I've started dreaming about it." I think I'd been saying it to her in bed as well. I'll try and try until I get it. Yeah, so that's my next thing. I'm gonna get a dummy and all that, and see if I can be a ventriloquist.
Oh dear. Well, I'm not a fan of that, I have to say.
You can please your ordinary.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
So if we had some text sent in on 8, 12, 15 this morning.
We have.
Because we asked about what we call celebrity swears, which isn't really swearing. It's using a celebrity's name to replace another word.
Exactly. And we've had Chris in a van in South London. I wonder if he's with the Brazilians. Morning, Frank and team. Me and the lads say to someone who is racing ahead or being unexpectedly adventurous, "Easy Woods," as in Tiger Woods. As an easy tiger.
I see.
I like it. Easy Woods.
That's good. I thought Gareth was going to speak then. We all turned to him, and he just turned to us. It was a Scottish going on. Are you all right, Gareth?
Yes, I'm very good.
I should point out that Gareth has got a little baby, so he's not getting that much sleep. Am I right?
No, I was woken up before my alarm today.
And did it sound a bit like this?
Oh.
So I've got to go. I think my baby's crying.
That actually was Ethan. That's Gareth's baby. That's not just some random baby noise that we took from the library. You were woken up by him this morning?
Yes. Yeah, he was up before me.
He was actually up?
Yeah.
How old is he?
Made me a cup of tea.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. I used to have a boxer dog that did that. He used to get up in the morning, go downstairs, put the kettle on, soft boil an egg, make a cup of tea, do some toast, bring the whole thing up on a tray, put it on the bed, and then do a headstand. We didn't have any egg cups.
I've got another text. Dan and Kel on their way to Wales. My wife and I always use stupid sayings for things like pass the Simon for mayonnaise, as in Simon Mayo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, pass the Simon. And Bernie for something hot, as in Bernie Winters.
Why would that be something hot?
For Bernie.
Oh, Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie
But
Winters.
it's also winters, though, isn't it? So
winters which are cold.
Would be cold.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got very confusing there in there in that amalgam, in that particular amalgam. So so I shouldn't be on MySpace. Is that what we drew from our earlier comments?
Yes.
Is MySpace now out of? I must admit, I never go on it and answer anything. I've got like 9 million things in my inbox.
I know.
Because I assume no one ever does it anymore. But
there was a story about MySpace, wasn't there,
there's
Gareth?
a woman who got sacked because she slagged off her boss.
Yeah.
On
She
there.
apparently, what was it she said?
She made a comment about on her thing, and it said, I have to edit it slightly. It said, "OMG, I hate my job. My boss is a totally pervy something, always making me do something stuff just to something me off."
Oh, you shouldn't have sent that in, Emily.
Absolute Radio.
I should say, Gareth, it's your birthday this week, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
How
It's
old
not
are
a big. It's not a big birthday. We need to hardly mention it. I'm 30.
30 is big. That was when I had my midlife crisis.
Was
which
it?
Means I'm going to die when I'm 60. But, when I was all my friends all got 30 at the same time, so obviously I'd known them since school, so that's not such a big shock. But we all started, doing sit-ups and stuff like that. And one friend of mine bought a pair of pixie boots. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Those kind of scrunchy boots. He bought a pair of them, and he was a bloke who absolutely wore jeans and trainers. So it changed a lot for me. I split up with a woman I'd been going out with for 6 years. I stopped drinking. I went back to the Catholic Church. I started doing comedy. Yes. What are you going to do, Gareth?
Wow, I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, it's a milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a big one. Jesus was 30 when he started.
He was 33.
When he began his ministry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
33 when he died.
Okay.
Got 3 years to do whatever I'm going to do,
Hurry up.
and that's it.
It's been a while since I was 30.
I can't. Oh my God! It's a bit of a scary moment. We've mentioned Emily's age. Tell us about it.
You're so horrible, Frank Skinner.
What did you do in the war, Emily?
Were you about to reveal your age? No, don't do it, because if
Shall
you
I
do it,
not?
no, you'll just
No.
regret it.
No,
Here it comes. That was the moment when you had to say it, you didn't say it.
No, I think the moment's gone. No, but I don't think I should lie about my age. I think it's daft, because Amanda Redman, that actress, was in the papers this week saying that she'd knocked 2 years off her age, saying that she'd said that she was 50 and she was actually 52, which coincidentally enough is your age, Frank.
Yes, but I haven't knocked any years off my age. So I once read about Marlene Dietrich that when she was 79, she used to say she was 76. What is the point in that? Looking good for 76. No, apparently she's 79, is she? Oh, that's quite old. Anyway, look, that's the end of the show, I'm afraid. Thank God we stopped Emily from revealing her age. It's been lovely being in Edinburgh, hasn't it?
I'm loving it.
And Janeane was great, and we had a good time. Have a fabulous whatever you're doing this week, and we'll see you next Saturday. Good day to you.
This is Frank Skinner live from the Edinburgh Festival. Absolute Radio.
How exciting is it to play the British Heart Foundation's weekly flutter? Ka-ching! Exciting enough to get your heart racing. Just a little bit. Like texting a mate. the same time they text you. Huh, like flipping pancakes with majestic grace. Or spotting that last parking space. Yes! With the added joy of knowing the money you donate helps to fund life-saving research. £1 to play, £1,000 to win every week. Search British Heart Foundation Weekly Lottery. See? It's a little bit exciting.
Gamble responsibly. Over 18s only. T's and C's apply. Please see our website for more details. British Heart Foundation is a registered charity.